Amina sprinted after the bus as it rattled away, her tray of fresh bread wobbling dangerously in her hands. "Wait! Hold on," she shouted, but the conductor simply banged the side of the bus and yelled back, "Madam, no space." The vehicle roared forward, splashing muddy water across her skirt. She flinched but didn't stop running until the bus disappeared down the busy road. Her chest heaved. Her morning had barely started, and everything was already falling apart. She adjusted the cloth that wrapped around her bread tray and stepped quickly into the main road before she missed the morning crowd entirely. The sun was mean today, glaring at her as if determined to make life harder. She walked fast, weaving between shouting drivers, motorcycle horns, and irritated commuters. One wrong step, and a tall man nearly knocked her tray from her hands. "Look where you're going," he barked. "Sorry, sir," she muttered quietly, gripping her tray tighter. She cut through a parking lot where luxury cars gleamed like mirrors. She hardly looked at them. Her eyes were focused ahead, focused on getting enough sales today to cover her mother's medication. Focused on getting through the day without another disaster. But disaster seemed determined to find her. A sleek black car swung sharply into the lot just as she stepped around a corner. She gasped and jumped back, but not fast enough. Her elbow hit the tray, sending 3 loaves of bread tumbling off and landing squarely on the glossy hood. She froze. The bread slid slowly down the expensive car, leaving streaks of butter and crumbs on paint that was probably worth more than her entire life's earnings. "Oh no," she whispered. The door opened, and a man stepped out. Tall. Sharp suit. Cold expression. Eyes like he stepped out of another world entirely. He looked at his car, at the bread smeared across it, then at her. Amina swallowed hard. I'm so sorry, sir. It was an accident." The man stared at her a moment longer, his irritation visible. But then his gaze softened slightly as he studied her trembling hands, her worn clothes, her anxious eyes. The hardened look melted, replaced by something she couldn't read. He exhaled. "Are you hurt?" The question shocked her. Rich people never asked her things like that. "No, sir. I'm fine." "But your car?" "It's just a car," he said. "Just a car." She blinked. People like him didn't usually talk like that. Before she could respond, 2 security men rushed out from the building nearby. "Mr. Liam, are you all right? Should we get her removed?" Amina flinched back instinctively as if expecting to be dragged away. Liam raised a hand casually. "Relax. I'm fine. Nobody's touching her." His voice was calm but firm enough that both guards immediately backed off. "I'm really sorry," Amina said again. "I didn't mean." "It's okay," Liam said. "How much is all this?" "All what?" she asked, confused. He gestured at the bread still in her tray. "All of it." Her eyes widened. "All the bread?" "Yes." She hesitated. People didn't usually buy in bulk from her unless they were reselling. It's 12,000 naira, sir." He pulled out his wallet without flinching. "Here." He handed her a crisp 20,000 naira note. Her mouth fell open. "Sir, I don't have change." "I didn't ask for change." She stared at the note, her fingers trembling slightly as she accepted it. This one sale could clear half her worries for the week. "Thank you, sir." "God bless you." Liam nodded and turned to his security men. "Help her gather the bread." "No," she said quickly. "I can carry it." "I'll." "It's fine," Liam said, amused by her panic. "Let them help." The guards obeyed, one of them carefully picking up the loaves from the hood, his expression tight as if the bread were toxic. Amina rushed forward, taking the bread from them instead. Liam watched her with mild curiosity. She seemed nervous yet proud, desperate yet determined to do everything herself. "What's your name?" he asked. "Amina, sir." "You sell here often?" She nodded. "Every morning." "All right," he said. "Have a good day, Amina." He turned toward the building, his phone already pressed to his ear. Amina watched him walk away, her heart still racing. She whispered a quiet prayer of thanks and hurried off to find more customers. She didn't dare dwell on him too much. People like him didn't exist in her world. Yet the memory of him followed her throughout the day. The next morning, she was back at her spot earlier than usual. She arranged her loaves neatly, adjusting them so they looked as fresh as they smelled. She wiped sweat from her forehead and scanned the crowd. Then she saw him. Liam's black car pulled into the lot again. She stiffened. For a moment, she thought maybe he worked nearby and this was just coincidence. But then he stepped out and walked directly toward her. She panicked and nearly dropped her tray. What was he doing? Why was he coming here? "Good morning," Liam said. "Good morning, sir." She tried not to sound flustered. "You have bread today?" She nodded. "Yes, sir." "I'll take one." "Only one." That made more sense. She packaged a loaf and handed it to him. He paid and leaned casually against his car. "So tell me," he said, biting into the warm bread, "how long have you been doing this?" Amina blinked. Rich people didn't ask such things. "Since I finished secondary school, sir. I wanted to go to nursing school but life happened." He nodded slowly. "Life happens a lot." His tone was softer than she expected. They spoke for a few minutes. Nothing deep. Just small talk. Then he left. But he came back the next day. And the day after that. For a whole week, he stopped by almost every morning. Each time he bought bread. Each time he stayed a little longer. People began whispering. "Why is that rich man always talking to the bread seller? You sure he's not pitying her?" "No, no, look the way he looks at her." Amina pretended not to hear them, but she felt their eyes every time Liam approached. One morning, he arrived earlier than usual. The sun had barely risen, and she was still arranging her bread when his car rolled to a stop. "Good morning," he said. She smiled awkwardly. "You're early today." "I had a meeting, so I thought I'd pass by first." She didn't know what to say to that, so she focused on cutting bread for a customer. But her hands shook slightly. Being around him made her nervous in ways she didn't understand. When the customer left, he stepped closer. "Do you have time to talk? Or are you too busy?" I can talk." He seemed pleased. He asked her about her family, her goals, her worries. She answered cautiously at first, but slowly loosened up as she realized he wasn't judging her. He listened closely, paying attention like her words mattered. At one point, she laughed, something she rarely did around strangers. He smiled at the sound. A passing woman snorted loudly. Bread seller chatting with a billionaire, wonders will never end. Amina stiffened, but Liam didn't even glance at the woman. He kept his eyes on Amina instead. "Does that bother you?" he asked gently. She hesitated. "A little." "Don't let it," he said. "People talk because they have nothing better to do." She wanted to believe him, but her reality didn't match his confidence. Still, when he walked away, she found herself smiling. That evening, as she carried her empty tray home, her friend Blessing ran up to her excitedly. "Amina. That man came again today. The fine one with the suit. The one with the nice car." Amina sighed. "He just came to buy bread." "No, oh. That one likes you. I can see it." Blessing nudged her playfully. "Don't go and dull yourself." Amina rolled her eyes, but she couldn't deny the warm flutter in her stomach. 2 weeks passed, and Liam's visits became part of her routine. Some days he only bought one loaf. Other days he bought 10 and handed them out to passers-by. He always spoke to her, always asked how she was doing, always offered a smile that made the morning feel lighter. One day, when she wasn't at her usual spot, he grew restless. He checked his watch, paced around, and even asked a nearby vendor if they had seen her. She finally arrived 30 minutes late, breathless and sweaty. "Amina," Liam said, walking up quickly. "Are you okay?" "I'm sorry, sir," she said, panting. "I had to take my mother to the clinic. I couldn't leave her." "You don't owe me an apology," he said softly. "Is she all right?" Amina nodded but looked exhausted. Liam noticed. Have you eaten today? She shook her head with embarrassment. He didn't lecture her. He simply sent his driver to buy food. She tried to refuse, but he insisted. As they ate by the roadside, she felt his eyes on her again, calm, curious, gentle. The connection between them grew quietly, naturally. Until the day everything changed. It was a Monday morning. Traffic was heavier than usual. Amina had just set down her tray when she heard a shrill scream from across the parking lot. She turned. A woman in a shimmering gold dress stepped out of a white car. Cameras flashed immediately. Men hurried to open her doors. She walked like she owned the earth, long hair flowing, heels clicking like powerful punctuation marks. Amina blinked. She looked familiar, too familiar. Like someone who belonged in magazines and red carpets, not on the streets. The woman removed her sunglasses and surveyed the area with a cold expression. Then she saw Liam. Her entire demeanor changed. Her face lit up. Liam. She rushed toward him. Amina stood frozen as Liam turned in surprise. Chantel, he said. So the glamorous woman had a name. She threw her arms around him, laughing loudly. I can't believe it. You didn't tell me you were back in town. Liam looked uncomfortable but returned the hug briefly. I wasn't expecting you. Oh, please, she said, brushing imaginary lint from his shoulders. You know I always find you. Amina swallowed, watching from a distance. She didn't know why her chest tightened, but it did. Chantel glanced around dramatically, and her eyes landed on Amina. In one slow sweep, her gaze dragged from Amina's face to her tray of bread, then back up again. She smiled, but not kindly. And who is this? She asked Liam, pointing directly at Amina. Amina's throat ran dry. Liam hesitated. This is Amina. She sells bread here. Chantel's smile stretched wider. Oh. Bread. The way she said it felt like an insult. Amina lowered her eyes. Chantel stepped closer, tilting her head like someone examining a rare insect. Interesting, she murmured. Liam sensed tension. Chantel, don't start. Start what? She asked innocently. I'm just observing. She turned back to him and clung to his arm. Come. Let's catch up. I have so much to tell you. As she dragged him away, Chantel glanced back at Amina with a smirk, one that said you don't belong here. Amina felt heat prick her eyes, but she blinked it away. She told herself it didn't matter. But it did. She felt something shift inside her. Something uncomfortable. Something dangerous. The next morning, Chantel came again. And the next. She came dressed like she was attending fashion shows. She brought cameras, friends, fans. Each time she arrived, she clung to Liam's arm. Each time, she made sure Amina saw it. One day, Chantel walked right up to Amina. You're Amina, right? Amina nodded cautiously. Chantel smiled sweetly. I just wanted to say, it's cute, you know. Thinking you can be friends with Liam. Amina stiffened. I'm not thinking anything. Oh. Good. Chantel flipped her hair. Because Liam and I go way back. Childhood. First loves. You understand. Amina's fingers tightened around her tray. I didn't say anything different. Chantel leaned closer. Good. Because some people need to know when to stay in their lane. She walked away before Amina could respond. Amina stood frozen, her heart pounding painfully. Later that day, Liam approached her. You look upset. Did something happen? She shook her head quickly. Nothing happened, sir. Amina. Nothing, she repeated. He didn't push. But he didn't believe her either. 2 nights later, Amina found a group of teenage boys vandalizing her bread storage shed. Hey! Stop, she shouted, running toward them. They laughed and fled, but not before scattering her supplies across the ground and smashing several loaves. Amina fell to her knees, devastated. As she gathered the ruined bread, she noticed a familiar perfume lingering in the air. Chantel's. That same night, Chantel posted a video on Instagram, laughing about teaching dirty girls lessons. Amina didn't need a name to know who she meant. The next morning, she didn't show up at her stall. Liam noticed immediately. He drove to her neighborhood for the first time and found her sitting alone outside her house, staring at the damaged bread shelves. "Amina," he said gently. She looked up. Her eyes were swollen. "What happened?" "Nothing," she whispered. He crouched beside her. "Tell me." For the first time, her tears escaped. "Your friend, she hates me." Liam's jaw tightened. "What did she do?" Amina shook her head. "I don't want trouble." "Please." "You won't get in trouble," he said firmly. "Tell me." But Amina couldn't. She simply wiped her face and forced a smile. "I'll be fine." He exhaled heavily but didn't push her. Instead, he said, "Come with me." "Where?" "I want to show you something." He drove her to his office building, a skyscraper she'd only ever seen from afar. As they stood on the rooftop garden, looking over the city, he said softly, "I come here when life feels heavy." She looked at him. "Your life can feel heavy?" He smiled faintly. "Everyone carries something." She didn't know what he carried, but she knew he was trying to comfort her. And for a moment, she let herself feel safe beside him. But safety didn't last long. Because Chantel was watching them, closely. And she had no intention of losing Liam to a bread seller. Not now. Not ever. Chantel slammed her phone onto her vanity table so hard that her reflection shook in the mirror. She had been scrolling through the photos her assistant secretly took of Liam and Amina standing together on the rooftop. The easy closeness between them made something burn deep in her chest, something ugly, something desperate. "How dare she?" Chantel hissed. Her assistant, Kira, hovered nervously nearby. "Ma'am, are we still posting the story of you and Mr. Liam going on that charity trip next week?" Chantel snapped her gaze toward her. "Obviously. Why are you asking stupid questions? Post it. Post everything. I need the world to remember who belongs beside Liam." Kira nodded quickly and rushed off. Chantel stared at the photo again, a candid shot of Liam gently brushing a tear from Amina's cheek. A soft, instinctive gesture. A gesture he had never given Chantel, even back in their teenage years when she first started chasing him. Her jaw clenched. That girl doesn't know what she's playing with. She rose from the vanity table, grabbed her purse, and stormed out. If Liam thought he could spend time with a bread seller and expect her to stay quiet, he must not know her at all. She would remind him. And she would destroy that girl so completely that she would never dare step near him again. By the next morning, the entire city knew Chantel was back in town. Her PR team posted non-stop photos of her glamorous lifestyle. Her fans swarmed her everywhere she went. News outlets praised her return. Cameras followed each step she took. And Chantel made sure many of those steps were taken right beside Liam. But Liam wasn't blind. He noticed her intensity. He noticed her clinging a little too tightly to his arm. He noticed her smirks at Amina whenever they crossed paths. He didn't like it. One morning, as soon as he stepped out of his car to buy bread from Amina, Chantel jumped out from the other side, practically pushing herself between them. "Liam." "Good morning," she said brightly. Liam stepped aside, irritated. "Chantel, what are you doing here?" "What do you mean?" She laughed loudly. "I'm just spending time with you. You're always so busy. And besides," she glanced at Amina with a sugary smile. "I wanted to try this bread she sells." Amina felt her stomach twist. Chantel picked a loaf dismissively with 2 fingers, as if it were something she found on the floor. "So this is what you've been coming here for?" Liam narrowed his eyes. "Amina's bread is good." Chantel smirked. "If you say so." She took a bite. Then grimaced dramatically. "Oh. That's not for me." Amina lowered her gaze. Liam saw the hurt in her eyes and felt a spark of anger. "Chantel," he said slowly, "if you don't like it, you don't have to pretend." "Oh, darling, I'm not pretending." She tossed the bread back into the tray. It landed on top of the other loaves. Dirty. Unwanted. Humiliated. Amina's throat tightened. Liam stepped in front of her, shielding her from Chantel's contempt. Go wait in the car. Chantel blinked. Excuse me. Go. I'll talk to you later. The tone carried weight. Weight Chantel wasn't expecting. Her lips parted in disbelief. Are you sending me away? For her. I'm asking you to leave, he said firmly. Chantel's nostrils flared. Her voice cracked through clenched teeth. This is not over. She strutted back to her car, slamming the door behind her. But she did not leave the lot. She stayed parked, sunglasses on, watching them like a predator observing its prey. Liam whispered, don't mind her. She doesn't know how to behave sometimes. Amina forced a small smile. It's okay. It's not, he said. And I'll talk to her. Please don't, Amina whispered quickly. I don't want trouble. You're not the cause of any trouble, he said softly. She needs to learn boundaries. Chantel watched them sharply through the windshield. Her fingers drummed on the steering wheel. Every gentle look Liam gave Amina made Chantel's rage twist deeper. She wasn't losing him. She would rather burn the world first. Later that afternoon, Chantel burst into Liam's office without knocking. He stood from his desk, startled. Chantel, what? What are you doing with her? She demanded, cutting him off. Liam frowned. With who? Don't pretend, she snapped, stepping closer. The bread girl. Amina. Why are you wasting your time with someone like her? That's none of your business, he said calmly. It is my business. Chantel practically screamed. You and I. There is no you and I, Liam said. Her face collapsed for a second, but her pride quickly rebuilt itself. We grew up together, Liam. Our families always planned. We're adults now, he said. And I don't owe anyone a relationship. But you owe me, she cried. You owe me at least honesty. I've always been honest, he said quietly. I never promised you anything. Chantel's breath trembled. Her pride had been struck hard. You're choosing her over me, she whispered. There was a long, painful silence. I'm choosing what makes me happy, Liam said. She stepped back as if slapped. Her tears welled up, but she refused to let them fall. You'll regret this, she whispered. You will regret humiliating me for that girl. Then she stormed out. And she kept her promise. Because from that moment on, Chantel transformed her obsession into a weapon. 2 days later, as Amina was walking home at night with her empty tray, a group of men stepped in front of her. Their faces were covered with caps pulled low. Evening, bread girl, one of them mocked. Amina tried to step back, but one grabbed her tray and flung it into the gutter. Please, she said shakily. Don't. Another man grabbed her by the arm. Madam Chantel sent her greetings. Before she could react, they pushed her into the dirt, kicked the tray again, and ran off. Amina lay there trembling, dust coating her clothes, her palms scraped. Her eyes filled with tears, not of pain, but of humiliation. When she got home, her mother gasped. Amina. Who did this to you? Amina shook her head, refusing to say a word. The next morning, she arrived at her stall with bruised arms and a limp she tried to hide. Liam saw her instantly. Amina, he said, rushing toward her. What happened? She looked away. I fell. Don't lie to me. She stayed silent. Amina, please, he said softly. Tell me the truth. She shook her head helplessly. You can't fight her. She's too powerful. Liam clenched his jaw. This is because of Chantel. Amina didn't answer. But he knew. I'm handling this, he said, his voice low and firm. No, she said quickly. If she knows you care about me, she'll do worse. His eyes softened with something deeper than mere concern, something that made her chest flutter and ache at the same time. Amina, he whispered, I do care. She inhaled sharply and looked away. Don't say things like that. I mean them. She closed her eyes for a moment. The world suddenly felt too big, too loud, too dangerous. People like us, she whispered. We don't mix. Your world will swallow me. Then I'll pull you into mine gently, he said quietly. Her heart raced. She didn't know whether to hold on or run. Before she could respond, Chantel pulled up in her white SUV, loud music blasting. She stepped out, talking into her phone dramatically. Oh my God, babe, I can't believe Liam is wasting his time here. She stopped mid-sentence when she saw Amina and Liam standing close. Her eyes hardened. Liam turned to her. We need to talk. Chantel smiled sweetly. Of course. In private, he added. She strutted over proudly, hips swaying. Fine. Let's talk. He led her away from the crowd, but they weren't out of earshot. Stop this, Liam said immediately. I know what you did to Amina. Chantel blinked innocently. What did I do? Don't pretend. The boys you sent hurt her. She smirked. Prove it. Liam stared at her, horror creeping onto his face. You're not even denying it. Why should I? Chantel shot back. She's beneath you. All of this, she gestured at the street, is beneath you. I'm trying to protect you from making a fool of yourself. You're the one embarrassing yourself. She flinched, fury blazing beneath her skin. I'm trying to save you. I don't need saving. Her voice cracked. But I need you. Liam's eyes softened for a moment, out of pity, not affection. Chantel. I'm sorry. But I don't love you. The words shattered something in her. She looked at him with pure heartbreak, then pure rage. You'll regret saying that, she whispered. Then she got into her car and sped away. The next day, everything escalated. A video suddenly went viral. A blurry, edited clip that showed Amina supposedly insulting Liam's company. Her voice had been faked. The background had been altered. It was a complete fabrication, but believable enough to fool thousands. People tore her apart in the comments. Ungrateful girl. Bread seller insulting billionaires. She's using him. She's a gold digger. What does she think she is? Amina saw the video while selling at her stall. She froze. Her hands shook. Tears blurred her vision. Her customers began to avoid her. Some laughed at her. Some insulted her to her face. She stood alone, trembling. Then Liam arrived. He stepped out of the car, his expression stormy. Amina. She wiped her cheeks. You've seen it. Yes. It's not real, she whispered. I swear on my life. It's not me. I know, he said. But there was something conflicted in his eyes. Liam, you believe me, right? He hesitated. That hesitation stabbed her like a knife. I want to, he said painfully. But the board is calling. Investors are panicking. They think I'm making reckless choices and being manipulated. So they think I'm manipulating you, she whispered. He looked away. I'm handling it. I just need time. Amina inhaled shakily. You doubt me. I didn't say that. You don't have to, she whispered. Your eyes said it. He reached for her hand, but she pulled away sharply. Liam, loving you, she stopped, startled by her own words. Being near you, it's hurting me. I can't do this. Amina. No, she said, voice breaking. I need to protect myself. From me, he asked quietly. From your world. She stepped back. Amina, please. Goodbye, Liam. She turned and ran before her heart could change its mind. Liam stood frozen, helplessness clawing at him. Across the street, hidden behind tinted windows, Chantel watched with a satisfied smile. But she didn't expect what would happen next. Because Liam, finally pushed to his edge, was done playing polite. That very night, he went straight to Chantel's penthouse, marched past her security, and confronted her in her own living room. You did this, he said coldly. She crossed her legs elegantly on the couch. Did what? The video. The rumors. The boys. Everything. And if I did, she asked casually. What will you do? Expose you? She laughed loudly. You can't. I'm too loved. Too powerful. Everyone will believe me over some nobody-bred girl. You're wrong, he said. No. You are. She rose slowly and stepped close enough for him to smell her perfume. Just accept it, Liam. You will end up with me. You always were supposed to. He stepped back as if her touch burned. No, he said calmly. I will never be with you. She slapped him. Hard. He didn't flinch. You ruined your last chance, he said quietly. And I promise you, everything you did to her will come out. Chantel's breath hitched, but her pride held her upright. Get out. Liam left without another word. That same night, he told his private investigator to dig up everything. Every lie, every fake message, every edited clip. He would burn her schemes to the ground. But while he fought for the truth, Amina buried her heart in silence. She stopped selling bread for days. She refused to talk to anyone. She stayed inside, replaying every moment with Liam, wondering how everything had collapsed so quickly, wondering why love could feel so painful. Her mother tried to comfort her. Amina, my child, a good man will know the truth. But Amina only cried softly. I'm tired, Mama. I'm so tired. She didn't know that Liam barely slept, barely ate, barely functioned. He paced his penthouse endlessly, replaying his hesitation and hating himself for hurting the one person who made him feel alive. He didn't know how to fix it. Not yet. But he was going to try. And when the truth finally came out, it would change everything. And Chantel would lose everything she thought she controlled. Amina held her breath when Liam took a step closer, his voice tight with frustration. I don't want to lose you, Amina. Can't you see that? She shook her head, exhausted. You already did. She turned away again, but Liam's hand hovered near her arm without touching. If you walk away now. I don't know if I can forgive myself. That's not my problem, Liam, she whispered, not trusting her voice. You believed a lie because it was easier than trusting me. His shoulders sagged. You're right. And I'm trying to fix that. Amina's lips pressed together. She didn't want to cry. Not again. Not in front of him. Fix it for yourself. Fix it for your company. Fix it for your conscience. But don't fix it for me. I'm not your charity case. He flinched at the words. You've never been a charity case. Amina glanced at him, voice barely steady. Then why did I feel like one every time something went wrong? Why was I the easiest to doubt? Why was I the easiest to replace? Liam's jaw clenched. He forced himself to speak without raising his voice. Because I was stupid. Because I let my past manipulate my present. Because I let someone I thought I knew control the narrative. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't undo the humiliation, she said. It doesn't erase what people said about me. It doesn't erase what you believed about me. Liam swallowed hard. Then tell me what I need to do. Amina lifted the tray again with trembling hands. Let me go. He inhaled sharply. I can't. You'll have to learn. She walked away before he could reply, her heart pounding in her ears, her hands shaking so badly she nearly dropped the tray. Every step felt heavier than the last, but she refused to look back. She didn't see Liam pressing a hand against a pillar, struggling to breathe. He had never felt fear like this. The fear of losing someone who had no reason to stay. Not anymore. But he wasn't giving up. Not when the truth was finally out. Not when Chantel had already done so much damage. He needed to clean the mess he allowed. He needed people to know the truth. And he needed Amina to see it, even if she never came back to him. He left the bakery without another word, and this time Amina didn't watch him go. She had seen enough. Asterisk. Later that evening, Amina sat beside her mother in the small living room. The air was heavy with unspoken things. Her mother watched her with worried eyes. You're not eating, Mama said quietly. Amina stared at the untouched food. I'm not hungry. You love jollof rice. Not today. Her mother reached out, placing a gentle hand on her knee. Child, heartbreak happens to everyone. Even the rich. I'm not heartbroken, Amina whispered. Her mother raised an eyebrow. Then why are you crying while trying to hide it? Amina blinked rapidly, turning her face away. I'm just tired. Mama gave a small sympathetic smile. You're in love. That's what this is. Amina sucked in a breath. I don't want to talk about it. You should, Mama said. Or it will become a wound that refuses to heal. Before Amina could reply, her phone buzzed. She ignored it at first, assuming it was customers or forwarded jokes. But when her mother insisted she check, Amina sighed and looked. It was her friend, Ada. And the message made Amina sit up straight. Amina. Check your TV. Liam is live. He's talking about you. Amina's heart jumped in her chest. What? Her mother blinked. What did you say? Amina grabbed the remote with trembling hands and switched to the business news channel. There he was. Liam. Wearing a black suit. Standing in front of a crowd of shareholders, reporters, and live cameras. And beside him, security officers stood with a furious, tight-jawed Chantel in handcuffs. Amina dropped the remote. What? Mama gasped and scooted closer. Ah. What is happening? On the screen, Liam looked exhausted but determined. This press conference is to clarify recent events, restore the integrity of my company, and to clear the name of someone who did nothing wrong. The crowd buzzed. A reporter raised a microphone. Mr. Lawson, are you referring to the bread seller people have been talking about online? Yes, Liam said without hesitation. Amina covered her mouth. Oh God. He continued, voice steady despite the cameras. Her name is Amina Yusuf. She was targeted, harassed, humiliated, all because someone I trusted decided she didn't deserve to be in my life. Chantel's glare at him was venomous. Reporters zoomed in on her. Liam nodded at the officers. They played the recordings beside him on a screen, recordings exposing everything Chantel had done. The edited videos. The manipulated texts. The deliberate lies. Chantel shouted, "You betrayed me, Liam." After everything. No, Liam said firmly. You betrayed yourself. A reporter asked, why is this important enough for a public press conference? Liam paused. Then he said the words that made Amina freeze completely. Because the world deserves to know that a good woman was hurt because of my ignorance. And I need her to hear me clearly, I was wrong. She did nothing wrong. She deserves an apology, and she deserves protection from what others caused. The murmurs in the room grew loud. Amina held her breath. Mama whispered, ah. He is serious, oh. Cameras flashed around Liam. I hope she's watching, he said. Because this is the only way I know how to show I'm willing to fix things, even if I never get a chance to speak to her again. Amina pressed a hand to her chest. Why is he doing this? Mama nodded slowly. Because he loves you. Amina couldn't breathe for a moment. She stared at the screen, tears blurring her vision. The conference ended with Chantel being escorted out, screaming. And Liam stood alone, shoulders heavy, looking like a man who just cut away the last piece of his past. Amina shut off the TV, still shaken. Her mother turned to her. So. What will you do? Amina struggled to find words. I don't know. No woman sees a man fight for her like that and feels nothing. It's not that I feel nothing, Amina whispered. It's that I feel too much. Mama smiled sadly. Then go and decide what you want those feelings to become. Asterisk. That night, Amina barely slept. Her mind kept replaying Liam's words, his face, the sincerity. But her pain replayed too. Every doubt. Every harsh whisper. Every humiliation. She needed time. But fate didn't give her time. Because the next morning, the entire street was buzzing. Phones out. Cameras rolling. Voices whispering. Amina stepped outside and froze. Liam was there. standing in front of her bakery stall. Not alone. With flowers. And security. And reporters. And her shocked neighbors watching from every angle. Amina's breath caught in her throat. Liam, what are you doing here? He ignored the cameras. Didn't even glance at the murmuring crowd. His eyes were on her. Only her. I'm here because I know you don't owe me anything. Not forgiveness. Not another chance. Not even a conversation. He swallowed. But I needed to say this to your face, not behind a microphone. Amina's heart hammered. Liam. I hurt you, he said. I let someone else define who you are. I failed you. And I know I don't deserve it, but I'm asking for a chance to be better. She looked down. I don't know if I can trust you. I understand, he said softly. But trust isn't built overnight. So let me start with the truth. The whole truth. He took a step closer, voice trembling. I care about you more than I've cared about anyone in years. You ground me. You see me. You don't treat me like a billionaire, you treat me like a human being. And I threw that away the moment things got difficult. Amina blinked rapidly, chest tight. Liam continued, I'm not asking you to take me back. I'm asking for a chance to earn your forgiveness. A chance to show you that I choose you, not because it's convenient, but because it scares me how much I want a life where you exist. A collective gasp rose from the watching crowd. Amina's throat constricted. Liam, why are you doing all this? Because losing you made me realize something. He lifted his eyes to hers. I don't want a life built on what's expected of me. I want a life built with the person who saw me as a man, not a status. She wiped a tear quickly. I'm still hurt. I know, he whispered. And I'll spend as long as it takes to help you heal. Even if you never come back to me. The crowd murmured again. Amina looked at the flowers in his hand, then at his face, the vulnerability, the sincerity, the fear. She stepped closer. The crowd held its breath. Amina exhaled shakily. I don't know what the future holds, Liam. I don't know if we'll ever get back to where we were. I'm not asking for certainty, he said. I'm asking for a beginning. A long silence stretched between them. Finally, Amina whispered, okay. Liam's eyes widened. Okay. Okay, she said again, voice trembling. Let's start from the beginning. A smile broke across his face, relieved, humbled, grateful. He didn't hug her. He didn't touch her. He just whispered, thank you. The crowd cheered. Someone shouted, God when? Someone else screamed, Amina for president. Amina covered her face in embarrassment, laughing through tears. Liam just watched her with the kind of smile that made everything else disappear. When the noise died down, he leaned forward slightly. Can I walk you to your stall? Amina nodded. Yes. They walked side by side, quietly, gently, like two people learning each other again. Old wounds didn't vanish instantly. Trust wouldn't magically repair itself. But a beginning had been made. A real one. Far away from manipulation, insecurity, or sabotage. A beginning built on truth. As Amina arranged her bread, Liam stood beside her, not as a billionaire, not as a broken lover, but simply as a man willing to start over. And for the first time in weeks, Amina allowed herself to hope.